I want to talk about the difference between raw data and summary data because it is a little bit different in the way that we handle it, and often you can't control what type of data you're going to be working with in any particular scenario. So you should be comfortable with the raw data where every person has their own row and every variable has its column. What I've got up here is the data from an actual published paper. You can't always get your hands on this, but there is a growing movement now to publish data along with papers, and you can see that actual data sets can be quite long. So if I just scroll down here, very big, down to over 3,000 observations. And if I scroll across, if we look at the number of variables they've collected, that's quite a lot as well. So this was a pretty big survey that these people did. Now, in a lot of cases, you want to get information that someone else has already collected, but they will not publish this raw data. All they will publish is the summary data. An example of that would be the census, which you'll probably be familiar with as it's being conducted tomorrow night at the time of recording. If this video is up next year, then it would have been last year the census was conducted. So with the census, if you have some research affiliations and you are able to request the raw data, you might be able to get your hands on it. Most of the time you'll be interested in the summary data where someone else has already gone through and tabulated all the results and they can just give you the breakdown. Out of these people, we've got this many males and this many females, and I just pulled this up for South Brisbane, and there's a little map there with the area. So this is very similar to what we're doing with the islands, where we're just trying to get a picture of what's going on. They also give you on the Australian Bureau of Statistics what they call community profiles, and essentially this is what we're doing at the moment on the islands. When you do a community profile in public health, it might look a little bit different from a statistical community profile, but you may still want to use some of this information. So if you've got the skills to look at this data and create some graphs from that, that will help you in the future when you're doing different types of community profiles in a public health or health promotion scenario. So I've already downloaded this community profile, which is just an Excel sheet, and you'll see that if you look along the bottom, there is a lot in here. It's very dense. There's a lot that you can wade through. It's unlikely that you would need all of this data, but just knowing that it's possible to select the bits that you're interested in and quickly create a graph that you can then use for your work is really very handy. So it's quite quick just to select data in Excel and get a chart of it. And of course, if you're using this in some of your own work in the future, you need to reference where you get the data from. So even though you've created the graph yourself, you didn't collect this data, so you need to put a reference underneath that you've used the data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics and put a link to the web page using whatever referencing system is required by your course. So that's why we have a look at working with summary data, because sometimes this is all you have access to, and it's very helpful to be able to manipulate it in Excel.